Okay, hi everyone. We are talking about elegant code and its rendering. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, let's take a look at some of these. That's pretty nice looking actually, I think. Could you go back to standard size?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, go back to the larger again.
Okay, that was 150 that I was at.
Do we have some code that was written by ChatGPT? Or
I don't have any.
there must be some in that post that I wrote.
Michael just sent something. Let me.
But this is my one. That's not ChatGPT. I can provide one in 5 minutes.
Yeah, with all of its commenting and so on. Okay, so scroll down a bit. And by the way, I assume that this font, whatever it is, what is that font anyway?
So this. So the math font is Wolfram Modern. What is the base font, Jeremy? I don't remember.
It's effectively Source Sans Pro, but it's got a toggle to make it mono, right? So it's called Source Sans Code.
Right. And with my changes, we probably won't need to do that. Because I that's what one of the things that I added was a parameterization that, I mean, you were doing that because you wanted to be able to pick up the monospaced version of the Wolfram font, and
right.
I now have that completely parameterizable.
Okay.
By the way, that /@ looks really sucky there.
Sorry. Oh, here, yeah. So now you sent email with something that was kind of similar to this. In that case, I think it had to do with maybe spacing, like this sort of spacing and such. I mean, this is the consequence of taking a sort of a shotgun approach at just monospacing all of the operators.
Well, we could make that operator not be, I mean, we don't have to make inside the operator. It doesn't have to be monospaced, does it?
That's tricky.
Seems like it can't possibly work to be monospaced inside the operator. If you just type on a new line, f at x.
Yeah, but at is taking the full width of the monospace.
Right, so take f//x.
Yeah.
That's sucky.
Yeah.
And the arrow is too bold.
Which arrow? What?
Any.
Yeah.
My eye gaze goes only to the arrows. The only thing I see when I look at this.
Oh, well, you know why that is, because we grade down these guys, but it doesn't look like I grade this down.
Yeah.
So that's fixable.
Right. Michael, Christopher, others. On the surface, this looks quite elegant, but I'm worried that not knowing where there's a brace and where there's a bracket. Question is, okay, here's the real thing here. Is there an implicit semantic grammar of Wolfram language? That is, in our heads, we know that most of those brackets have to be brackets. They can't be braces. There's very little ambiguity, if you understand what I mean. So you barely need them. You need them only to precisely define what you mean. In other words, there's redundancy in the way that those are there. And therefore, if we gray them, it's not going to make any difference. Do you agree with that statement? Or to what extent do you need the bracket, need the braces to understand what's going on? And to what extent is it like you could just fill it in your mind easily enough?
You definitely need the braces.
No, you
Otherwise,
need them. I mean, Michael, you need them. The question is whether when you first read this, your first impression, for example, in that list plot, those braces strike me as more necessary than the square brackets. And I'm kind of wondering if the braces should be darker than the square brackets. Because I think square brackets, you can always fill in where they have to be. If you see what I'm saying.
yeah, I think I know what you mean.
I mean, commas similarly. John, do we have any control over this in real time? Can we make the braces darker and the commas slightly darker?
Well, it's everything.
No, that's not going to work. So I mean, because
sorry. What I mean is, all of the gray operators would change color together.
okay, but fine, but that's not what I was looking for. What I'm saying is, I would make an argument as I'm looking at this that the square brackets are purely sort of they're like guidelines of some kind. They're like the the little blue lines on paper or something. They're things that are useful. That they're just infrastructure. Whereas I claim that the braces and the commas are more important. Making sense. And therefore, I would suggest
But
making
not black,
darker.
right? You're saying you want them some
not
middle.
black.
Yeah.
Well,
But
just yeah, go ahead.
Like if you say sort opening square random sample, I think there the spacing looks pretty good. But on the left listboard square curly, that looks too large for me. That looks unpleasantly large.
Well, it might not look so large if the brace was darker. I don't think the spacing is so terrible, I have to say. I mean, I think.
Oops, made it lighter. Sorry, meant to make it darker. There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't really have the effect because you
everybody got darker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So make it back to the lighter again.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, so I think having the braces be darker will be useful, slightly darker. Let's look at some other code.
Yeah.
And I think the commas as well, especially because they're kind of small.
So we talked about the rule characters popping. Of course, now that's the only operators that I touched were basically the match fix operators and the commas. There are that's still black as well, and that's still black as well, and so on.
No, that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I think that those are black. I think that the multi-character operators have to be tweaked. / at and those things, those have to be tweaked.
If you want, I can drop some more code that Michael sent me from ChatGPT.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
And then scroll down this one to just see this one. And then let's take a look at Christopher's one and so on. Okay.
There we go.
Looks pretty nice to me.
There's quite a lot of code here. I'll scroll up a bit.
Michael, what do you think? I think this looks significantly nicer than it would do if everything was black and more closely spaced.
I agree. I wouldn't mind a little bit more color difference of the comments. Like the comments now look a little bit too much like user functions to me.
Well, I mean, there's also the possibility of a different font for comments. Is there a possibility of a different font?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, give me something and I'll throw it in.
I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think?
I don't know. It's source. I don't think another similar sans would work. If you just want to see something different, you throw in Georgia. It'll just be a serif.
So it's just changing
It's a
font
size
size
change.
just for something to do.
Small.
Interesting.
What was that?
That was
the
just
font
a size change.
Okay, I don't think that really helps.
Do
Okay,
not read.
font family Georgia, just Georgia, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow. Reminds me of that program Mongo.
It does seem like a lot of the brackets are really far apart.
But is that a problem?
I mean, I think both the closed brackets at the end, like where there are 5 closed brackets, I think that looks a little strange. But also, like if you look at the plot, open bracket, open list, and the plot all 6 functions together, I think that looks pretty weird.
I think it looks very readable. I mean, the fact that it looks unusual, I mean, it's going to look different. The question is whether it looks more more, because I feel like the floor, ceiling, square root, blah, 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 it just looks more literate than it did before.
Well, I don't know. I think I mean, the useful thing is when you can sort of semantically have some things be closer and some things be further, right? Which there already is a bit of with some of the sort of auto formatting stuff in input cells.
There we go. There we
But-
go. I set font tracking just on the structure operators. I can get even a little more.
So what did that just do?
I'd set font tracking on everything to get better letter spacing for the font. It was tight, but it was adding a little bit too much space for the operators.
Yeah, so this is font tracking just on the gray stuff.
The square brackets from the part extraction, they are too near on the characters. Like on the rightmost X range. I don't like them.
Yes, those look wrong.
Which ones?
Near the bottom. The thing that sticks
Okay.
out furthest to the right.
Mhm.
They basically touch the E.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I can blow it out a bit too. I never remember what the values are. I have to go look them up. Condensed, semi-condensed. Okay, that's compressed.
It's not something you can do in real time to make the braces darker, is it?
It's all the gray stuff together. I can make any changes to all the gray stuff together at once. Okay. So this is tighter than normal, but only marginally tighter than normal.
Sorry, what were you doing?
Sorry, I just loosened up the font tracking. So on the structure operators, or what I've been calling them, the match, fix, and commas. So it's tighter than normal tracking, but only a little bit.
I'm totally confused. What
as opposed to that. So that's normal tracking.
Okay, now go back.
Okay. I think, yeah, here we go.
Could you scroll up and show some of that older code we were looking at?
Sure.
Written by humans.
Yeah.
Keep going. The stuff from Jeremy, for example. I think it will help to have the braces be darker. And the commas.
Okay.
And remember the
Okay,
the
that's a little
multi-character.
darker. I can go darker yet.
But, but you're adjusting everything.
Yeah.
Okay, right. But I'm saying I think a variation of the darkness of the brace relative to the bracket will be important.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Can
so
you add a
for-
couple parentheses somewhere?
I'm
It
sorry,
seemed to me
do what?
because add around some characters or some function, just a couple parentheses.
Okay.
Let's see.
There you go.
They seem to have a much wider spacing than the one we saw earlier with the comments. They were very tight.
no, okay, we didn't finish the discussion about comments.
Right.
What
and
about, here's another crazy idea for you. Maybe it's not doable. What about a background color for the comments?
Sure. Yeah, that's totally doable. Let me get a comment on screen. Okay, were there no comments? Maybe
There are
there
no
weren't any
comments.
comments in this section.
You can make a comment there.
Michael had lots of comments. Okay.
Yeah, get rid of the Giorgio. Bring it back to.
Okay.
And also, it doesn't help that the spacing of the paren star is crazy.
Yeah, that I can't do anything about. Let's see. So we want background. Give me a color.
Jeremy. Very, very light. Very, very light blue.
Okay. Oh, it's too late apparently.
You got something?
Oh, that's
Jeremy, do you think this is going to work, or do you think it's crazy?
I'm worried the padding's gonna be really tight and make it look ugly.
I see. You might be right. What else can we do to these?
sorry. That's I expected to be able to change the background, and it's not, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, what else could we do here with these? I mean, what about changing the font tracking a lot for these things to make them much more textual and much less kind
That
of
should
coding?
be plain text, or no, is it code? Is that a font style now, John, without the mono?
So it is. It's using the same font as this.
So yeah, maybe it's
As
plain
this.
source, no mono.
Right.
Won't change
Right.
much, but the brackets will, and the
Try
the
it.
star
Try
will.
try
Okay.
change.
Maybe
so-
italic too.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry, you want what? Source Code Pro
Source sans.
or Source Sans? Sans. I like.
Not italic.
No.
Okay.
I think that's a faux italic. That doesn't look real to me.
It's also, I mean, this isn't. We're talking about changing the tracking, so this just
Yeah,
looks
you have
like
to
code. It's
You have
just
to get rid of the font, the font tracking.
Okay. I mean, you want it tighter?
yeah.
Just
We want.
normal. I don't think it's that
Oh
wide.
no,
normal.
that was normal.
Oh boy.
That's super tight.
Okay, loosen it a bit, but this is much better. This is what we want. Is that looser again? Okay, there. That's much better. To my mind, and then that really distinguishes it from the code. don't you think? Anybody else? Jeremy.
I think it's maybe a little tight. It's better. It's a little too tight. I could see it being slightly smaller too.
Let's
Yeah, I
see.
think I agree. Slightly smaller will be good, although we're looking at this in a magnified size.
Yeah.
That's
Just down a point.
there
or
we
so.
go. There is so that's one tracking level
That
looser.
looks good to me. That looks better.
And then you want me to try a size?
Yeah, just down a point.
Oh, sorry, that's up.
That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so, and by the way, those italics for the, function, the pattern names,
Yeah.
that's some kind of faux italic, presumably.
It's, I mean, it's whatever the system is giving us for this font, which, sorry, I just don't remember off the top of my head. Entirely possible it's synthesized, yes. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried with this change because frequently people do comment out a piece of code and it changes it a lot. So I would rather prefer it would keep the sides and not
Maybe so.
change the sides.
Size, but you're not worried about the tracking.
Not so much, but the sides.
Well, I don't know. Let's try just to take a piece of that code, John, and comment
Mhm.
it right now.
Okay.
No, not that one, a bigger one. Whatever. Go ahead. It's not that bad, actually, I think. Could you unselect it, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to toggle it again without the scroll bar jumping so you could see the difference.
Okay, now toggle it back again.
Okay.
And unselect. Doesn't seem that terrible. I mean, we should. Can we see this at 100%, please? Not magnified. Jeremy, what do you think about the color of the comments? Why did we go other than gray for the
I
comments?
don't know. It feels like we're fighting wanting them to be seen versus not wanting them to be seen. I think it depends on the use case.
Can we try just plain gray, John?
Yeah.
Like gray level 0.4 or something?
For the comments you said?
Yep.
Okay. Just a second.
I feel like the code with like English commentary, that's a different use case than just commenting out a piece of, non-functional code or some older piece of code.
Right.
That's gray.
Oh.
What?
I think I may be running into some kind of bug here because this is this. No.
Well, okay.
Oh, sorry. I see what's going on. Okay.
And then I want to see some of Christopher's code here.
I was tweaking the wrong value. Gray level of 0.4.
Yep.
There we go.
I think it looks better than the green.
I do too.
Want to change the gray level, Jeremy?
I'd have to see it on my machine. This looks okay, but I'd want to see it on my Mac to be sure.
Yeah, okay. And we have to see how it agrees with the gray levels of the brackets and things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see some of Christopher's code. bigger chunks.
Um,
Actually, let me look at some of those other ones. Sorry, you were just scrolling down. Can we just look at the?
which one? The Michaels,
I
Lauren
don't know.
Michaels.
No,
It's-
no, no. It's the Shaw 256 one.
Yeah, that's Christopher's. Yeah.
Ah, strings are grey. That may be what we wanted to distinguish in the comments.
Yeah.
The problem is here that seeing this with so much blue, could you switch off the blue? Could you
I
just make
can.
the blue be black?
If I can find it, yes. Oops.
Now, I mean, what happens to output here? If you just take one of these things and say hold of that whole giant, like hold of that width or something, and let's just see it as output. See what it looks like. the
Like
whole of
this,
that.
for example.
Yeah, take the whole width and just stick in the hole. Oh, that's just weird looking. I mean, so that doesn't have any of the I don't even understand why it doesn't have any of the syntax coloring in it.
Oh, because output cells never have syntax coloring.
Okay.
I mean, it's an easy thing to play with, but it's a decision that, we made a long time ago, which I think is a pretty good decision.
Maybe for the brackets, it's not the right decision here. I mean, because it's surprisingly unreadable in that case. Okay, can you scroll down through some more of this code?
Yeah, and I can. That was it. There wasn't that much.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can we see? Did Jeremy have sample code there? Wait a minute. That was the
Yeah,
stuff. we were
there's some
looking
big
at.
chunks at the bottom of mine.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
Okay.
take a look.
Okay. So, let's see. Like around this is what you were thinking
Yeah,
of,
okay,
Jeremy?
hold on.
No, it's even more. There's
You
like
know
the
what?
last
Are
two
you able to just make this a narrower notebook?
There you go.
There we go. Ah, here we go. I think that's what you're looking for, Steven.
Yep.
Yeah. Boy, it's pretty hard to read. What would happen if we increased the line spacing?
Code is pretty hard to read though. I mean, I think it's just that the format, it's like unformatted. Yeah, I'm not sure how easily that can be helped.
I mean, this is hard to read. There's no, yeah. I mean, but would you say the same thing about math? Well, probably it's different because math is usually really human written, whereas this is sort of semi. Says this is sort of semi machine written. Did you make it? Did you increase the line spacing?
No, I didn't. But let me just remind myself what the current numbers are, so I know. Let's see. Uh, 02. Okay. So do.
You figuring it out?
I thought I was changing it, but it does not seem to be changing. So let me just do it this way. There we go.
Change it
Here.
to be slightly smaller, please.
Okay, so that's just a tick above what it was originally.
Yeah. Now just so what are the parameter values? linear and we got a multiplier, right?
1.2. The previous multiplier was 1.1. I ticked it up to 1.2.
That's 1.2.
Yeah, this is 1.2.
Go to 1.4. Too much, I think. I mean, this code is really hard to read. Okay, 1.3. Okay, let's scroll through some other code, please.
Okay. I
Did you do it globally?
No, I did not. That was what I was struggling with, is I didn't remember where this was coming from, but I can change anything else you want.
Change. I mean, that one is going to already have some. Just scroll up. I mean, that seems to me that 1.3 was okay, but this may go crazy if you have the linear. Is that 1.3 there?
It's now 1.3. I just changed it.
It's almost enough, I think. You scroll to a different one.
Scroll up. Here we go. This is unchanged. This one.
Change
this guy
it.
is. Okay.
That was the change.
There we go.
No. Well, that's better in my view. Jeremy, Christopher, others?
It's better for this case. Just have to balance this versus, smaller chunks.
Well, let's look at for something that's a 2-line chunk. Could you scroll up, please?
Sure. Let's see. Something like this.
Yeah, that one, and then make the line width smaller. Increase the
Okay.
size. That's just
That's
fine.
the increased size.
Now make the line width smaller.
Yeah.
Where was it? Sorry, which one was it?
The selected one here.
And that's the 1.3 case.
That's 1.3. Yeah.
Looks okay to me. We need to think about comments versus strings and what we can do there. I think the strings look pretty good in gray. What can we do with the comments? Well, the tracking helps because we're not. The tracking for the strings is the same as the tracking for the functions.
Correct.
Okay. Can you scroll up on this thing, please? Yeah, it needs that 1.3 for that one at the top. It's obscure. Try changing that again to 1.3.
I'll change both of these.
It's better. Honestly, this looks pretty good to me. There's a few glitches we're noticing here. Okay, Michael, my feeling is that parens, okay, braces I claim should be the darker gray. Do you agree or disagree? Parens, I guess, should also be the darker gray because they are necessary. You have
agree.
to.
Yeah, I agree.
Association brackets probably like the
Sorry, braces and parens, you said?
Yeah, braces and parens are the darker one. So the only one that's really lighter is the square brackets.
What about arrows like the braces? Dark
Yeah,
gray,
they should be dark gray.
Yeah.
And these operators just need to be clean. The multi-character operators just need to be clean. They should be black, I think. I mean, I admit that some operators like at could conceivably be gray. Michael, what do you think about that?
Oh, some of them I would be a little bit concerned.
Well, let's talk about which is which. I mean, to me, and at. Go ahead.
Add and slash add I consider to be the same.
Fine, but do you think dark gray? That seems right to me.
Yeah, I
think then-
think this is fine.
But I mean, something like a slash is obviously black, just a single slash, or plus sign is black. Do you agree?
What about slash add?
It should go gray just for consistency.
The whole thing, not just. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm saying that these things which are essentially structural operators that are sort of morally similar to brackets should be the dark gray color. Brackets themselves should be the light gray color.
Yeah. But then add is morally similar to square brackets.
I know, but it should be a darker gray. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, I think the moral similarity is breaking down.
Yeah, and the colon equals should be black.
Yeah, that was I was trying to think whether it might be a difference of single character operators versus multi-character operators, but I realized colon equal you don't want to be different from plus.
Sandra is asking, should the vertical spacing caused by explicitly using enter be different from the one caused by overflows, but by line wrapping? I don't think so. All right.
So you know, I mean, this maybe speaks a little less elegant code, but as you're well aware, I mean, we have this situation where you might have multiple inputs, 1 + 1 and 2 + 2, and these are in the same cell, but they actually create 2 outputs.
Yeah, which I hate. Yep.
But one could imagine having some kind of visible delimiter to kind
That
of
would be magnificorial.
clue you in that these are
Yeah, I
separate
think that would be
inputs.
magnificent. Like a dotted line between
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
So I can.
I mean, also remember what's really going on there is that there's an in3 that's implicit.
Exactly.
So maybe that's where we should do something. We can have. Could we get an in3 in there?
Yes.
Because it's just an annotation to the cell, and we just have to put another annotation on that side.
Right. There was a bit of a technology problem around this, but that was kind of solved a couple versions ago.
Okay, well then I would strongly favor that. I'm not sure that
with actually, I mean, the technology problem was related to what we did to solve the line numbering in the package editor.
Okay, I got another comment. If you can put an annotation, can't you just increase the space between the things which are distinct?
Yeah.
And that would be
But
fine.
I mean, when I say annotation, I'm including that sort of possibility.
Yeah, okay, but I think that will be fine. That, together with the fact that when you actually evaluate, you get different in numbers, that will be just fine.
Yeah.
That means if you
now it might not be totally obvious in just a 2-input case with lines that don't wrap.
I understand that, but it's better than nothing.
So
and it will be much more obvious when you evaluate.
And I mean, something related that came across my radar recently, someone making this sort of mistake. And here the syntax coloring is helping you a bit, the colon equal being magenta, telling you that that's not a complete expression, but we could maybe emphasize this sort of thing even more.
We could. Look, I think, percent modernization somehow relates to all of that. I'm so keen on percent modernization. you are going to start working on it as soon as 13.3
if I can find any freaking time, it's all the priorities.
Okay.
Frankly, I'd rather work on that than some of the other things that I'm asked to work on.
Well, fair enough. Okay, what else do we need to cover? We're going to run out of time here. What else do we need to cover in this meeting?
Well, okay, so there's a question of what, if anything, we're going to do for 13.3.
We're going to have this in there somehow.
Yeah. So
question is how.
the distinct, some operators are this color and some operators are that color. We're not going to do that for 13.3. So
Well,
there.
so this is a partial thing. So then I suppose it should just be a style sheet, which we will not advertise yet.
Right. So right now it is an environment. And just for your purpose, we also, threw in, a menu item in here. But all the menu item does is it just creates a notebook with that environment set.
All right, I don't think we should have the menu item yet if we're not ready with all these features.
Okay.
But I think we should have a style environment.
Okay. Well,
And that's fine. Working elegant.
I have
got a
no
better
problem
idea?
throwing the environment in 13.3, and it may not be fully baked yet, but it can be there.
Could you throw in a elegant print too?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Yes, elegant print would be very worthwhile. Okay, well, I mean, we clearly need to incrementally. Is this Packlet updatable at all?
Not as presently implemented.
It's a shame. Because I mean, we should. Yeah, this is an important thing. This is going to be a big win, and I can guarantee that I'm going to be asking you for this for things that I'm writing and so on to render this way.
Well, and of course, I'm only going to deliver to you the desktop front end for, web, cloud, whatever. We're going to have to pull in other people.
Right. Who need to be informed about this going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is good. I think anybody want to make any further comments here? We do need to think some more about. Well, I think we figured out something about the comments, although maybe they need to go a slightly different gray. Jeremy, what do you think about that?
I can try it. I'm not convinced. It might not look intentional.
Right. Fair enough. But I think the tracking change and the size change will help.
Mm-hmm. I'll look at that. Maybe we can tone back the current color, just a little more desaturation of the blue,
and
where it's not as loud.
I'm not sure why the background setting didn't work. I would consider that a bug. That having been said, I'm not sure that changing the background is the right call.
Well, but Jeremy's point is it's going to be too shrink wrapped around the characters.
Yeah, it's always way too tight.
That is true. Yes.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. Thanks, guys, and see you later. Okay, bye.
Great.